When I was drafted, I was 21.
We can do tomorrow. Correct.
Received 5 battle stars, the Good Conduct Medal. It affected my memory. I couldn't remember anything for 10 years. You tell me something, and I couldn't remember. I worked in Okinawa in 1947. May of 1947, May the 10th, I went to Shanghai, China. Stayed 10 days, and I stayed on Okinawa until 1951. And then I went to Guam, G-U-A-M, Guam. I went to Guam in 1947 for a contract until 1954. Worked 3 years on. Worked at Kelly Air Force Base for 23 years. I was a government policeman, and I enjoyed every day of it. You can put that on if you want to. One day in July the 7th, I was in a foxhole. This town was capital S-T, capital L-O, St. Louis, France. The United States sent over 3,000 planes, 3,000 bombers in order for General Patton, 4th Armored. And the oddity of that is that General Rommel and General Patton went to West Point together. He fought General Rommel and defeated him. And one of my interesting experiences is we were marching, I ate Christmas dinner M as in Melvin, M-E-T-Z, Metz, Germany, 1944. And afterwards, we moved up to Bastogne, Belgium, where the Germans made their last stand. It was the Battle of the Bulge, they called it. And the Germans made their last stand. The Germans threw everything they had at the Allies. On the way from Metz to Bastogne, I lost my duffel bag in a 2-ton truck. I lost everything I had. And I had a souvenir. I had a rifle that I really was proud of. I sure hated that I lost my duffel bag. But let's see. And then after the Battle of the Bulge, we were marching along a road in France. We were marching along, and one evening, just about dusk, my buddy and I, we were about 5 miles on the outskirts of a town, and there was a big farmhouse, and there was a big barn, and a big opening about 100 feet opening, where the farmer went in and out, and there was about a 3-foot wall all along that road, and there, at the entrance, it wasn't a chicken coop, but it was about 4 feet wide. And my buddy and I, like I said, it was just about dark. We thought that would be a good place to spend the night. So we looked in there, and it was all dirty, covered with fertilizer. See? And so my buddy and I, we didn't feel like cleaning it out, so we went over and got in the hay barn and crawled under the hay. And the next morning, the Germans had zeroed in with a mortar shell. A mortar shell had hit that little chicken, whatever you call it, and blew it all to thunder. So ever since then, I've had a warm spot in my heart for chickens. We didn't want to clean out all that mess where the Germans had chickens in there, see. So, like I say, my buddy and I, we went over and crawled under some hay, because we thought a little place like that, that'd be much better than the big barn, but no, it didn't happen that way. What happened, like I told you, the Germans had zeroed in before they left on that, I guess on that chicken coop, or I guess they call it chicken coop, and they hit it with a mortar shell during the night and blew it to thunder. And like I say, I wouldn't be here talking to you if that chicken hadn't been covered with fertilizer. And like I say, my buddy and I, we were just too tired we didn't want to, clean it out. Mm-hmm. So we just went over and crawled under the hay. Mm-hmm. And as it turned out, we were safe there. And the Germans had hit that chicken coop with a mortar shell and blew it all to thunder. And like I say, I wouldn't be here talking to you if the chicken coop hadn't been dirty with fertilizer. And like I say, we were too tired to clean. We didn't feel like cleaning it. Mm-hmm. So, like I tell you, ever since then, I've had a warm spot in my heart for chickens. We were living over here in Navasota. You know where Navasota is? Daddy was a railroad man, and he worked at the railroad station 22 years, 1938 to 1960. And last year, the mayor and the city council changed the name of the street we were living on. When I first moved there in 38, the name of the street was Cannon, and Daddy used to say we live on Cannon Street. It was a dead-end street, and the last house, Daddy would say, we live on Cannon Street. The farther up you go, the louder it gets. And last year, the mayor and the city council changed the name of, after Cannon Street, a few years ago, they changed the name to Church Street. Mm-hmm. It was Church Street, which is right by that, they have a statue of LaSalle there in Navasota, a statue right there, and the clinic is on the corner. Mm-hmm. And so, like I say, the city council had changed the name from Cannon to Church Street about 15 years ago. And then last year, the mayor and city council, mayor's name is Miller, and he changed the name he and the council changed the name of Church Street to Craig Street to honor my daddy. And I thought that, and I wrote a letter and thanked him, and sent a copy of the letter to my sister, showing that I thank the mayor and the city council for changing the name of Church Street to Craig Street to honor my father. And since I think it was this year that they moved that railroad station from Navasota to Anderson, which is a county seat, mm-hmm. and they made a museum out of it.
Wow!
And I thought that was just wonderful that the mayor and the city council changed that name from Church Street to Craig Street to honor my daddy.